I'm Sarah Ulmer with Y'all Politics, and we are thrilled to be one of the sponsors of the 2020 Mississippi Top 50. This event has become synonymous with celebrating some of Mississippi's most influential people over the years. And of course, the highlight of our event is always our Hall of Fame program. However, none of this would be possible without the support of our sponsors: Atmos Energy, Capital Resources, Mississippi Farm Bureau, the Payne Group, Taller Loan Company, and Y'all Politics. While we can't be together in Jackson, we do hope that you'll enjoy our presentation. Mississippi is no stranger to a complicated and segregated past. But for one man, those obstacles did not stand in his way of undeniable success. That is why we are proud to announce Reuben Anderson as part of the Mississippi Top 50 2020 Hall of Fame. Born in 1943 to a bricklayer and the great-grandson of slaves, Reuben Anderson's Mississippi wasn't as welcoming of a place for African Americans as it is today. Still, young Reuben did not let that slow him down. After graduating from Tougaloo College in 1965, Anderson became the first black student to graduate from the University of Mississippi's School of Law in 1967, 5 years after James Meredith integrated Ole Miss.
I grew up in Jackson. Went to the Catholic school until I was in the 11th grade. Then I went to the public schools. Went to Tougaloo College, and from Tougaloo College, I did a year of law school in Louisiana at Southern University, then Ole Miss.
Anderson went to work practicing with the Mississippi NAACP Legal Defense Fund on desegregation and voter right cases. In 1968, Anderson joined a private law firm, Anderson, Banks, Nichols, and Stewart, where he practiced for 8 years. In 1976, Anderson was appointed as the municipal court judge for the city of Jackson, where he served until he was appointed to the county court in Hinds County, the county circuit court, and then the 7th Circuit Court of Appeals, each one a first for an African American. He was then appointed in 1985 by Mississippi Governor William Elaine to the state Supreme Court.
I started out as a civil rights lawyer in 1967 and did that for about 4 or 5 years and went into private practice after that, and went on the bench in 1977 and served on the bench for 15 years and been in private practice since then.
In 1991, Judge Anderson retired from the bench to return to private practice with Phelps Dunbar LLP. But his firsts weren't quite over yet. Anderson was chosen as the first African American president of the Mississippi Bar Association in 1997, and in 2007, he was presented the Mississippi Bar Association's Lifetime Achievement Award. In 2009, Anderson was inducted into the National Bar Association Hall of Fame, and 2 years later, the University of Mississippi School of Law Hall of Fame. Anderson has served as chairman of the Mississippi Civil Rights Museum and was one of its major fundraisers during development.
I was chairman of the board of trustees of Tougaloo College, and we started an initiative at Tougaloo to build a civil rights museum. And we found out that it was a lot more involved than Tougaloo could accommodate. And Governor Warner and I plotted and schemed and convinced Governor Barber that it was a good thing for Mississippi, and Governor Barber used his influence with the legislature to appropriate the money, and we raised another $20 million, I and Governor Warner and a whole lot of other people. And it's been a huge success. It's a great venue, and it's something that's needed for Mississippi.
When Mississippi needed someone to lead the commission to put forward a new state flag, Judge Anderson was appointed by Lieutenant Governor Delbert Hoseman and named chairman by the commissioners to guide the process. As the Flag Commission wrapped up its work recently, Anderson offered these words.
I grew up in Mississippi in the 40s and 50s, and all of my life, Mississippi has been at the bottom, 50th. in whatever category you can think of, whether income, health care, education. We've always been on the bottom. On November 3rd, I think that'll take a change. We won't move to the top, but I can assure you we will move. And how in the world is it that Mississippi could be on the bottom with all of the tremendous assets and resources that we have? We have the greatest people, the most talented and gifted people, the greatest poets and authors, musicians. We're the birthplace of America's music. We have the most fertile soil. Anything will grow in Mississippi. From cotton to watermelons to catfish, it'll grow here. We have timber and oil and gas, the Mississippi River and 90 miles of beaches. There's no reason for us to be on the bottom. We'll be on the bottom all of my lifetime, but my children and grandchildren will see us ascend. And it'll happen because of what you have done to bring this great object to the people of Mississippi to vote on. I'm so thrilled that you decided to take the flower of the magnolia tree, a tree that's been around 90 million years. And the thing about a tree is different than anything else. The oldest living organism on earth is the Mezulum tree that has been growing for 5,000 years in the desert of California. 5,000 years from now, our flag will be growing and showing and blooming. And we'll send a message to all of America that we are open for business. We'll send a message that we live in the future and not in the past.
Judge Reuben Anderson's life of firsts is truly an inspirational story, both for him and the state of Mississippi. That is why we are proud to name him to the 2020 Mississippi Top 50 Hall of Fame.